everybody, my name is Natasha Collins and I am the founder of NC Real Estate, which includes its members club, a place for you to go and increase your wealth through property and investments. In today's video, I am going to be answering a question. Can I increase my borrowing relatively soon after taking out a mortgage? Which is a fabulous question. Well, yes, to a certain extent, you probably could increase your borrowing relatively soon after taking out a mortgage, but a mortgage lender really doesn't like that. In fact, they'd probably be pretty resistant to it. The reason is because they fix you in on a contract and they value the property at a certain level. So if the property is then going up in value after 6 months, they're going to be wondering, well, what happened? Why don't we get the valuation correct? What is going on there? So although it is a possibility and some lenders might look at it, chances are more often than not you're opening a can of worms that can be really difficult to get out of. But if you're buying a property and you're thinking, actually, you know what? I'm going to buy this property, I'm buying it at a great price and I can increase the value, and you're looking at taking that capital back out so you can continue recycling, you do have other options available to you. To do is use short-term lending. Now, it doesn't have to come in the form of traditional bridging lending anymore, because I get it, bridging lending is ridiculously frustrating. It can be a nightmare with high costs, but you do have other alternatives in the market, such as peer-to-peer lending, where you can get in contact with them and say, I am buying a property at X amount and I need that funded for a couple of months whilst I do some works to it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to remortgage it with a traditional lender and I am going to increase the value, and then for you, you can take the money back out. So the money that you take back out, that increase in value, less any fees that you've had to pay to the peer-to-peer lender or any fees that you've had to pay for taking out the long-term lending. And that would be my preferred solution, because actually it's relatively easy nowadays. There are a lot of peer-to-peer lenders in the market who will fund your deal, providing it's a deal that works. No one's ever going to take anything on if you've not done the correct deal analysis, and they're not going to be able to get their money back. It's all a risk game, guys. Also, most long-term lenders are not going to look at you remortgaging if you've bought the property within the first 6 months. So you are going to have to take out short-term funding for the first 6 months, and then at that time you can remortgage on. Usually this is quite a good thing anyway. I know a lot of people complain to me about it and they say, oh, well, that's too long, I'm planning on buying the property, having it done within 2 months, and then that's it, getting it remortgaged. But actually, works notoriously take you longer than you think it's going to take, and quite frankly, you need that little bit of leg room. It will look far better if you can do the works. You can then get it let, or if you're selling it, then you've got time to sell it. Whatever you're going to do, get it to that end state that you want it, and you want it remortgaged, because then it's easier for you to remortgage. Especially if you're saying to the lender, actually, do you know what? So you're saying it to your long-term lender, I believe that rental income is at X. If you're already getting that, how can they say anything otherwise? Rather than taking out long-term borrowing from the start, if you're buying a deal that you're going to be adding value to immediately, look at short-term lending solutions. I would advise against bridging lenders and going with peer-to-peer lenders. Of course, you may already have a relationship with a bridging lender and they may have brought interest rates down for you, but I've found them notoriously difficult to deal with in the past, and therefore I now deal with peer-to-peer lenders who do have that continuous stream of income. And also, I've got some great peer-to-peer lenders who often jump into the members club and they say, we've got X amount of funding, do any of your clients want to have it? In which case, yeah, fantastic. Just remember still with peer-to-peer lending that you are going to have a deposit. They're not going to be lending you 100% in most cases, so you are going to have a deposit. And you're also going to have all the costs of purchasing the property. So that's your solicitor's fees, your stamp duty if it's relevant, any surveys, and there will be a small cost up front to the peer-to-peer lender as well. But if you are increasing the value, it might be that the peer-to-peer lender lends you development fees as well. You go to them, you tell them exactly what you're bringing to the table, what the property is, and what you're looking to borrow. They will then either say yes, or they say, actually no, we can only lend to you this, or go and reduce the price a little bit more and we'll lend you the whole thing. So there we have it. That is exactly how I would increase my borrowing after taking out lending from the start. And also it is relatively simple. You can get funding within a couple of days. So I hope that's been useful for you. If you've liked this video, please push like and don't forget to subscribe so that every single week you can get my new video. And if you head on over to www.ncrealestate.co.uk and you go to my blog, you will see this video as a blog post and you will be able to download the image and the printable that goes with it. So make sure that you head over to ncrealestate.co.uk and I'll also put the link below. Thank you so much for watching me this week and I cannot wait to catch up with you again soon.